And being that there's so much going on means
great picture.
That whenever we learn, it's a tremendous hatzlacha. That is an unbelievable picture. I love it. So please share that to me.
I need to get a clear version of it.
No, it looks very good. I mean, maybe my eyes are not in the pixels.
Zoom in, it's not so, Yeah,
there's always, nowadays you can actually do that through after the fact. You can fix the pixels.
Oh, it's such a holy picture.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So, we've been learning a lot of concepts of Chochmah being a das, especially we're learning Chabad, and Rav Shlomo Shir this morning, we now shifted to the Ava, from the Das to the Ava. And my Maran Shir, we also, weekly class, we also learned about Das and Ava. So it's just everything's connecting up. It's big simcha. Today we're going to learn more about the inyan of Mesiras Nefesh, but once again, it's all connected to this love, this hidden love. It's the foundation of all the midas comes from Ahava.
The Ahava and Asteris.
Yeah, very good. And then the Shua, beautiful picture, Sam. Thank you. And I did find the Makor where it says the essence of wisdom is to realize how far from wisdom you are. Remember we had that came up. That's the Kutmaron in Tanina. Torah.
He says wisdom. He says
Pei Gimel. Probably Das, I would say. Right. Yeah, it's more into Das. And just to look at what the summary Shmuel Diamond says, the mechanics of Jewish self-sacrifice. He's quite good with his language. The nefesh elikus is compared to the flame of a candle. By the way, we mentioned the other day Aryeh Kaplan, and because we had that Rabbi Sutton in the house. So he was a Talmud of Rabbi Kaplan. Rabbi Aryeh Kaplan literally changed my life. And this book he wrote about Jewish meditations was all about meditating on the flame, the candle analogy. Mm-hmm. The flame of a candle for two reasons. It desires to separate from the wick and no longer be here in this world. It desires to return to its source and lose all sense of selfhood. That's like the flickering of the flame. Right. Both of these desires are irrational, referred to as the nefesh elikus' nature. It's like a godly nature. Right. So we're going to learn about that, and then there's other things we'll get to, the hidden love as well. That will be more discussed later on. And Kedusha and Klippa, we're going to get to Klippa Killer again. So we got some exciting stuff in this chapter 19 in Tanya, Perek. We're also a sphere of Yesod, Chesed Yesod. Right. Now in the Siddiqim, we already did the Lamed base, Nasivus, we fixed our heart. Now we're in the Tov part, the good part, preparing for Shavuos, and fixing the inyan of Sadik, of Kedusha and Tahara, and Umak Shemaim, and all those good things. So let's go ahead together and with Sas Shemaim, and realize that, even this share this morning, we wouldn't have really got it if you hadn't had some Akdama from Tanya, of the idea of the Elikus. That's the key to Avos Yisrael. You want to love another Jew, you have to be tuned into that godly spark.
Yeah.
To further elucidate the nature of hidden love, it is necessary to clarify the meaning of the verse. The soul of man is a candle of Hashem. It's a very important passage.
The candle of God
is Mishlei.
The Hashem of a man.
Yeah, Mishlei. Mishlei is the key to all this. Because we've been talking about the idea that every Yid has this Ahavas and Steris, and how the Torah is very near to us. This virtue of love of Hashem is very near to us. It's the Alter Rebbe has been helping us with.
Right, Perish.
And the idea of Chochmah, the light of Ein Sof, is vested. And what is the root of this love? How do we come to inherit it? Remember, we've been discussing that. And what is the nature of this love? What are we striving for? How is a fear of Hashem incorporated in this love of Hashem? Perish Yisrael, by Tanya, Kroyim Adam. This means that the soul of Jew are called man. Yeah, this is important. Adam, Aleph Daled Man.
Yisrael.
That's we're Bnei Adam. Hila Mashal or Ner. The Jewish people.
The souls of Jews who are called man.
Yeah. The Jewish people are called man by what? Like a flame of a candle.
It says in Yavamis, all right?
Yeah, Gemara in Yavamis. We see that there's a big Aleph in Divrei Yamim, Adam. Yeah, and we see in Vayikra a little Aleph. Yeah, in the word Vayikra. Yeah. There's all this concept of Adam and Aleph, right, and Aleph Dam. Yeah, and this concept. I was thinking about the name David Mordechai because there's someone the Rebbe's brother's not been feeling well, so I was having in mind in tefillas today. What's his David Mordechai? Which David Dam? I was thinking about Dam. And I was thinking, what you bring the Aleph to the Dam, you make it into an Adam, Bnei Adam. Right. So it's a certain Mesiris Nefesh with dam is how you show your Mesiris Nefesh. The Memda, the Neiris of Hanukkah, of the Shamish. The idea that you show your Mesiris Nefesh for your blood, the Mai Chayich, but then you have this idea of the what's going to give the light it up is the Aleph, the Alakus Shabbat, the hidden love, the Ava. This is going to light it up. That's the flame of the candle. Whose nature is always to flicker upwards. This is the whole Sefer, the meditating, and you say the words of Mashal, and look at that flame flickering upwards. For the flame of the fire intensely seeks to be part of the wick that holds onto it, and what? Lidavek b'shorish halamala, b'yesod ha'eish l'kali, shetakas l'galgal ha'yerech, k'mo shekoseh b'etz chaim. Because what's it trying to do? Go back to the source of the universal element of fire, which is sublunar sphere. I don't know what that is. But apparently there's some sort of fire going around the world. Yeah? You ever scientifically understood that? There is some, when you see when they take NASA and all these, nowadays Elon Musk with Star, whatever it's called, with his thing, when it goes out of the atmosphere, there's a tremendous fire around the world.
Yeah.
I don't know what the names.
It's like even scientific. I mean, again, it's all.
It's shorest and fire.
A lot of it is, but like when a vessel enters the atmosphere, it heats up. A lot of it's because of the speed, but.
What's this thing program called? X something, Star something. Star Trekking.
Star Trek. Star Wars.
Star Wars. I have no idea.
You
forget all his names.
Real life Star Wars.
Yeah, he's trying to. But the point is that it's going through the atmosphere. There's this tremendous fire that surrounds the aircraft or the whatever they call it, the rocket. So there's 4 elements in creation: earth, water, air, and fire. And the higher and higher is more ethereal. So what's the highest is the Aish. So earth is the lowest, is the coarsest, the most physical. Water is like already starting to head up.
But water also always goes to the lowest place.
Yeah, it's interesting because the way they apportion these 4 elements in the Shem Havaya, I think water is actually the highest. But
really?
Yeah.
I guess there's always like little parts of it that could create it, but
the physical aspect, and if we're going to explain it physically, then we're going to explain that that fire is the highest.
Right. Yerushalayim is fire. Yeah,
Yerushalayim. It's Eish. Thereby, preparing from the wick, becoming part of its source, it be extinguished. Because once the flickers enough that it flicks off the wick, that's it.
Right, it's always reaching up.
And what would happen above in its root, it would be battled to the light. So once it goes up to the source, it's battle. It's a very big thing in Shaykhul Amunah, this concept of the ray of the sun. Once you put it back in the sun, it's battle. When it's shining in the world, then it has some mamashas, you sort of see it. But really it's battle ultimately all the way back.
Interesting.
So that unification, that's a very important concept in understanding the divine light of Hashem, that it's really always battle, but in its source is when you experience the Inyan of Bittul. So when it goes back to its root level, then it becomes battle.
It says right. It's just
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Eitz Chaim based on the Torahs of the Arizal.
The universal element of fire, which is in the sublunar sphere.
He brings that word here as well. So he spreads the earth over water, it's kind of everlasting.
Wherever that is.
The element of air is higher than water, and therefore surrounds it. The fire, the highest element, surrounds the entire atmosphere, is found in the subliminal sphere. The flame constantly drawing up as us represents desire to unite with its source. So it therefore would cease to be luminary when it does that. Yeah, it won't light up the room. Since the candle is in effect illuminating the environment, it's by having a greater brilliance of daylight. So if you bring a candle into daylight, into a lit up room, it doesn't really do anything. A lit candle. the fire that doesn't do much. Surely within the element of fire itself, his identity is completely nullified.
Right.
The flame
It's
striving
this
to know the
interesting
source.
idea is that we have this like concept where like no, where the light only illuminates, in the darkness.
Right.
But then, like a nice idea, which is that the darkness is actually what illuminates the light.
Yeah, that I've heard that. Isn't that it's like a Joey Rosenfeld comment?
It's definitely something he would say.
Yeah, I think he said it.
Where
I heard him
the
say something
darkness
like that.
illuminates the light.
Yeah, because like it would fit into that whole thing he gave over to Gedalia, that it's okay to not be okay. Same kind of concept.
I didn't listen
Yeah,
to that.
that's a good one. But the concept is okay to not be okay, meaning it's okay because the darkness itself is lighting up the light. It's a good point. Yeah. By the way, his shir, the Mamish now, the latest one he just sent about Yisod, Midas Yisod, it was also
Shurim like
deep. I mean, the whole idea of Mashiach and making space, naming
not
things,
easy to follow.
giving names. Like the
It's
fact
like really
that the name of Mashiach itself shows the essence of those people that named him. Hanan and Chain and Yonon and Yinon.
When I used to live in New York,
deep stuff.
I used to drive to work. It would take about an hour, hour and a half. So I used to listen to different podcasts a lot. Depending on my mindset, that would define which.
I mean, this is a newer one, no? Or he had an older one.
To his stuff, I remember, and I just like I could not focus while driving. It was like
I use it
pull
somewhat
over
as
outside
background noise, so then I
Right.
suddenly find myself saying Erich Ampin.
Right.
I'm just. Yeah, this is what it desires by nature. It constantly strains upwards as though this were its continuous desire. It's conscious desire, excuse me. It's constantly wanting. Yeah, so Adam came bechinas ruach nefesh. Just kind of seeks to reunite with its source. So also the neshama of a Jew, also level ruach and nefesh. So this is what's happening with the candle. It's always trying to reach its source, its shorish. And that's so too with a yid. Look, when we learn, we shockle. My wife really finds the shockling irritating. Yeah? Every time she sees me speak, when I got up in front of Shir David, she said, hold on to the stender. Hold on to the rabbi's, whatever they call it, the podium thing. Yeah, hold on to that and do not move. She's like, it's too off-putting to me watch you moving around like some, I mean, there's some pretty famous comedians right now. Part of their shtick is they don't stand still. This guy called Casey Rocket runs around the stage and he's like ADHD on fire.
Right.
It's become quite a thing nowadays. This like autistic way of being is actually quite a skill. But
a lot of the Rebbes you see them.
I mean, Simaya's like cocking, he's flipping out, jumping. Yeah, but
when I went to go see Simaya, he was like,
jumping. He's jumping out of his chair.
I was like, what?
Yeah, it's lavish. It's like he gets taken over.
Neshama was going to depart.
Yeah, he gets taken over by the aura of the neshama. So that's this flickering candle, and we move back and forth, shockling the back and
floating
forth.
above the room.
Yeah, he's like leaning
You
back.
walk in there, and his goof is there, and his neshama is like somewhere else.
He's leaning back and is like in his chair, like all the way.
Like daddy's sleeping.
He's got the towel over his mouth.
There's a towel, and his eyes were shut, and he was like laying on the chair. He's like,
It's like a completely different way to Rav Simaya.
Right.
But you see, each tzaddik can feel its bechina. So my wife's like, just stay still when you're going to speak.
He's still right.
Like, stop moving around so much. It's fair enough. She comes from a misnagdisha literature house. She's not used to all this.
Yeah.
See the shakoch. Even though she's been married to me now almost 23 years. Yeah.
Right.
It's a good zivug, but so this idea, the aspect of the ruach and nefesh, this levels of ruach and nefesh, is koching away. The Sham is used to here in the broader sense, so which the levels of ruach and nefesh kind of extends also those within whom only the lower soul level of ruach and nefesh, because most of us don't have a neshama, like in the revealed sense of neshama, the level of neshama. If we're lucky, we have a nefesh. Even better if we have a ruach. But to start imagining we're holding on the level of neshama, there's levels of souls. It's. I mean, on the pneumis we've learned already. On the inner level, the hidden level, we have all these levels. But in terms of actually having acquisition of a level, we're experiencing it. It's lucky if we get to the level of ruach. That'd be fortunate. The science desires and yearns to separate itself and depart from the body. The point is, whatever level soul you have, you're still experiencing this. To unite with its origin and source in God, blessed be He. It's the foundation of all life. So just like he's very good, the Mashal of the flame, the Nishmat. Remember, this is for mission. It's flickering to get back to its source. So too, the nefesh or ruach and neshama, wherever you're at, is flickering to unite with the Makor HaChaim, the source of life, which is Hashem.
Blessed be He, right here.
Yeah, He is the fountain of all life.
It's fountain.
Fountainhead. I know what that means, but yeah.
There was a book, Fountainhead.
Yeah, sounds a bit odd. I don't know. These translations, old school.
Blessed be He.
We need your other book. We need the book In-Betweeners. It's a bit more up to date. Yeah. is battle shamba mitzias legamre. Thereby it would become null and naught, and its identity there in its source. What? But mitzias gamre lo yisham mimenu uma mahusa smusa rishon. It'd be completely nullified with nothing at all remaining of its original essence and soul. Imagine if you went into a Kiruv seminar and the rabbi is talking
about
this.
What, a Kiruv seminar?
Yeah, I mean, probably, not really my kind of scene, but just say you went to one of those. Do you ever went to one of those?
I've been till I was like...
I don't know. Say you went to one of them and they're telling you, get involved in Yiddishkeit, they're telling you Yiddishkeit. And what are they saying?
I went as more of like...
You're going to be completely nullified with nothing of you remaining at all. The original self.
I went to a Kiruv seminar and some guy give me Musser.
That was the killer seminar? You mean Rickhook seminar?
He just ripped
He was pushing you away.
He was pushing me away, and I was like, and I told him, I was like, you're furthering me. And I came as a from Jew, it was like
making it worse.
And I remember there's a rabbi in my old community, his name is Rabbi Leibowitz. He's like, why you Talmud of Shachter? The guy's like a walking halacha book. All these guys know him. He goes, Rabbi Leibowitz, he knows halacha inside, outside.
Where's this in America?
In North Woodmere.
Okay. He's part of Israel or something?
He's part of, I think, the YU, but he's like when it comes to halacha, he has...
I mean Young Israel, that's what I meant. He davens at Young Israel there?
No, he has his own shul. He's very from
He has his
YU.
own shul?
Yeah, he's very from YU.
Oh, cool.
The guys here probably know him. He's one of the top poskim within the YU world. And I remember he put out a kuntras, a 12 to 15 page kuntras on coffee on Shabbos.
Oh wow!
Where he
I'm actually learning about that now.
Where he went into the details of instant coffee, and then he went into using pour over coffees and the pour over coffee method. He said his coat is fine. It's mutter for sure.
Yeah.
And
what's pour over coffee?
Pour over is where you basically take grounded coffees.
Okay.
You put it in imagine a cup. With a filter.
Oh yeah.
And you pour it, and then it
goes
through.
I love that. That's the best coffee.
It's the best coffee. And he was like, you're 100% allowed to use it.
To make it.
His whole thing is you have to be careful when you remove the filter, how you do it. You don't want to do schita, whatever it was. Anyways, and so I was doing it on Shabbos there, and some guy came over to me. He's like, it's usher to do what you're doing.
At this Kiruv seminar?
Yeah. And I was like, it's
actually...
It's
Richuk seminar.
And I said to him, I was like, it's actually not usher. I was like, if you would learn the halachas, you'd actually realize it's 100% fine. And he's like, and he looked at me, he was like, you probably need to speak to a Rav. And then I said to him,
he probably uses that the Israeli stuff, the little powder.
And I was like, you're actually wrong.
As if because it has an Eidach Heksha, that's the only coffee you can use. And it tastes garbage. What do they call it? The Afa?
Oh yeah, the dust. Turkish coffee.
No, not that one.
The other one.
Yeah, they don't even bring it here because no one would use it.
Yeah, it's disgusting. For me, anything that says Eidach Haredis, I know is disgusting. Tasting usually it's chicken.
Richuk seminar.
When I lived in
should make a new seminar called Richuk seminar.
Right,
we're trying to distance you.
Right, serve only when I lived
should
in
get you out of it.
It was like everything was like Eidach Harim. It was like
Yeah.
the chicken came in these yellow. Like,
Oh yeah, those bags. Everything's changed though now, because things have developed. Thank
yeah,
God.
like even the meat. It was
Yeah.
like somehow they managed to freeze the meat, frozen solid square blocks.
Yeah.
You remember that? It was like
Oh my
square
gosh, you're bringing me memories
And I
back.
was like, this,
I lived like that for like
like
10 years or something in that
like-
Ada Chredis
do they still
bubble.
sell it like that? The square.
That's what I
block
don't know
meat?
anymore because I'm not there. But I used to live like that, and everything was like
They
that.
were ice cubes.
We literally only had a certain thing we would buy and eat. It was such a limited diet and such a limited
Yeah.
way of cooking and Shabbos. I lived off bread, Angel Bakery.
Right.
Bread and those little lebens. That was my
Right.
breakfast every day. And no wonder I got fat. Like I was just eating all this white crap bread, like it's
Right.
made
Also,
of garbage.
The bread is like the.
And the leben, I'd dip it in the leben. That was like my diet. With maybe rogalach, after davening and mei soda. That was it. It was like so it's unhealthy, like range of food. Baruch Hashem, I got out of that. Thank God. Anyway, Hagam shtei ein ve'efes batul gam b'siyas legamre. So it becomes null and naught. So obviously the point with Chabad, why are they so successful in Kiddush? Why is because they're not trying to makarve you, they're trying to megala the essence of your neshama.
Yeah.
So once they're talking to your neshama, this was the whole shir this morning, they're tuning into the Ava B'das that we learned with Rabbi Nachman, this Ava and also with Ginsburg's Sefer Tanya Medina. They're tuning into the love that's hidden, the awakening the soul level. That soul level, that is the key. And now this lotion of bittul and nullifications actually, now you can relate to it because you want to. Which hippie? When I was a hippie back in the day in the 90s, I wanted to get out of this like goof. I wanted to experience godliness. So it becomes very like appealing when they show you that it's actually within you.
Yeah.
You don't have to go do drugs or go to some ashram. You have that godliness within you. You have to learn to connect to the godliness within. And that's what the Torah means. So that's the fire, this neshama that's within each of us. And this is the point. And you start to connect it to this shockling and this, my brothers, my oldest brother moves his legs around when he speaks, my dad as well. And it's like in our family, we're shockling away. It's a Yiddish thing. It's a Jewish thing. You can't get this Jew out of you, no matter what. Yeah.
It's like a famous story I remember hearing as a kid, which I don't think it's the healthiest story. It was like, the details. It was like there was like a guy pretending to be Jewish or whatever, and then they were sure, and then they went into the shul and they started going davening, and he wasn't chuckling or something. And they knew he was a spy or something. Like the Russian army.
I heard that.
Nebuch, the guy, he's just like doesn't chuckle.
I read a joke that actually, because it's hard to get my kids to laugh to my kind of like old school humor. So I read a joke the other day from Yaakov Kalinsky, and I wasn't sure if it was going to go, but I tried it anyway. And what was the story? This guy's fundraising in a shul. He sees different approaches. There's the guy going around, I'm a Ger Tzedek, most of Nefesh Yiddishkeit. Then he sees some other guy, I'm a Meyuchas, about Einikul from the Baal Shem Tov. So this guy, it ends up, he wasn't even Jewish. And he was fundraising, like, he saw Jews mates, he dressed up like a Jew. So he was trying to fundraise. So he goes around, he says, look, I see these two guys getting the most, the Ger Tzedek and the Einikul from the Baal Shem. So he said, I'm going to be both. So he starts calling out, I'm an Einikul, the Baal Shem Tov, and a Ger Tzedek. So they throw him out the shul. Guy.
That's good.
I got my kids to laugh. I think I said it better at the time. But anyway. Yeah, this is the will and desire by its nature. Note the expression, with nothing at all remaining of the original self. Unity of the source would not cause the soul to cease to exist. On the contrary, what happens? This is the soul's true quintessence. I love that word. Quintessence. Yeah, we're holding by Afo Pikain Zeritzana V'Chev B'Tivo.
Is that who?
Yeah, so before we get with Tabahu Shel Moshel Lachol Davar She'ena B'Chinas Tam V'Das, let's read this together. The contrary, the soul's true in this sense, the state the soul ceases to exist as it exists while clothed in the body, a distinct entity of its own intellectual, emotional power, and so on. Therefore, cannot be postulated. Wow, these are fancy words. The soul's yearning to unite with its essence merely represents desire for self-elevation. For self-elevation is possible when the original self remains. So that's the whole thing. There's never deleting your soul. You're not becoming nothing. You're becoming one with your essence.
Well, it's never deleting your soul or deleting your guf. It's both.
But then the soul should die to leave the body, unite with source, since union causes sensation of the original self. ? Indeed, there's no rational explanation for desire. This is the whole thing. It's not a logical thing. That's what Shmuel Daim was bringing out. Yeah, the term nature is usually used derogatively in the nature rationality. In our case, the term is complementary. Right. The soul has a super rational desire. Yeah, v'tiva zuhu shemas. This is this idea, the nature. Right. The Mashal, the kol davar she'ena b'chinas tam v'das. Right. Is not in the realm of reason comprehension, but that's a good thing.
Right. I actually heard a very good maybe this is what he says here.
Yeah.
Is that the reason why the soul's nature is to unite with Hashem is because when God created the world, right? It was nothing. It was nothingness. Mamish nothingness. It was nothing. And then from the nothingness he made something. Right? He took, right, what was the whole thing? Is that like when you and I want to make a loaf of bread, we take the ingredients and put it together. Here he took the nothingness, whatever that means, and from the nothingness he made something, and then and then from that there's us, which we are all now we all have the neshama, which is all the part of Hashem. And so what's happening is that, right, why does it say Hashem recreates the world constantly is because what's happening is that when you do something with derech hateva, right, you create something, now that creation is now a self-sustaining creature, like a child, right? At some point, right, the baby needs to be nursed, and then as it gets older, it just separates from the mother. With us, our whole existence is the existence of creation from nothingness, and so we're always
dependent on
Hashem because our souls are always trying to go back to that teva.
But there's also, if you start going to, it's beautiful what you're saying. If you start going to Romanis Freeman, he starts to add, he adds like a complicated element, which is actually the most simple in a certain way. That he says this idea of interdependency, that you actually become a level of Hashem depends on you also. Because he needs us for his creation to have purpose. He doesn't really need us on his essence, but for the sake of creation, he needs us. Yeah, right. So he needs us to do his will and make a nachas ruach.
Well, that's right. That's the next
and
step.
That's a relationship.
Right.
Then become interdependent.
Right.
You become independent seemingly. That's your yeshus.
Right.
And then you become interdependent. That you really actually depend on him.
Right.
And he depends on you, and that's a win-win kind of, truthful way of living life, that you're synergizing with your creation and the creator, and everything's unifying.
Right. Which is the opposite of what's right. So then now when a person starts to, it's like why depressed people feel like they just want to they want to cease to exist because their neshama is like, just get me the heck out of here.
Yeah, that's really what's happening. But they don't know how to say it that way.
Right.
And that's why Joey Rosenfeld was very good. What he said in his shir most recently posted is the idea that by naming things, it gives such clarity.
Right. Interesting.
Having the das to know what you're feeling and to be able to just. I always say it to my wife. So I went out of this world, and she gets really upset with me. She said, "It's so unstable." But it comes. I'm being honest. Like, what can I do? I don't like this world. That's why the shir this morning was really hard for me. When he started saying you have to begin with Ava. Like, I hate things in this world.
Right.
I hate mosquitoes. What did God create mosquitoes? I want to kill them all.
Right. Mosquitoes, I think, were a mistake.
Like, I hate them. Like, I hate these Hamas guys. Like, they just want to keep killing everyone. Like, no.
Mosquitoes and Hamas.
Like, like, I can't.
And heartburn.
I can't, like, how do you get to this, like, saying this love for creation when you got such disgusting elements of it? Like, what are this bug that comes and throws in your ear and eats you and like makes you itch? It's like
mosquitoes, Hamas, and heartburn. That's it. Those two.
How do you then those kind of things? How do you get back to that root level that everything's with ahava? Hashem made us with love, and everything creation has to be with love. And it's hard when you start getting to that lowest level creation of a mosquito to still remember that shorish. Like, I become like this warrior, this sleeper killer. I want to go around the room and start
I do that also. I wake up like at 2 a.m. I hear
it doesn't matter what time.
I turn the lights on. I turn
my
flashlight
wife,
on.
she starts, oh no, here it goes. And then I'm like, I will not stop until I kill them.
Me too. You see in my bedroom,
and they hide once you turn the light on. Yeah, I have blood all over the walls. I go around every side. My wife said the other day, said that she looked around the wall, it's just blood everywhere. She's like, you got to clean this. So I go around with a wipe it all off. Within a day, there's already new ones.
Yeah, it's the worst.
I'm like, because I have a whole methodology. Because once you turn the light, they hide. Then you got to turn it off again. Then they come out, and then they hide again. And this could go on like an hour in the middle of the night. And you're wasting your time. You could be sleeping. I always try and use it for a little bit of tefillah, like it's this. I'm like, all right, here we go. I'm walking around anyway. So I'm going to talk to Hashem now. I'm going to daven for my son in the army, Bachit and Mashal. I'm done for all the Yidden. I'm going to daven for Kleist. I'm done for the Shekhinah. I might as well do Tichat Tzos. Why not? I'll talk about Hashem based in English. I might as well use this avoda.
You were there by Judah Mashal? Judah?
Oh, I was there for the later part. What did he say?
He made a joke.
He might not want this public because it was a private meeting.
So funny.
You know, I haven't yet talked about that share publicly, like on any recordings.
It was amazing.
Because I've been a bit. I'm not going to get into it because
right, you told me.
It's better not.
Okay, where are we up to?
Let's just do one more.
Going soon.
Let's do one more shtickle.
All right, let's finish up the. We're up to here. Okay,
let's get to the Gimel Shvat, which is where it is in the Chitas. By the way, the Chitas has, even though they're way ahead, they're in Perek 49 or somewhere. It's very much connected to. I've seen there's been a connection, the daily learning and where everything's connected. So this is the complication. Nature is implied for everything, any in the realm of reason and comprehension. And this whole bechina that we're learning about is beyond das. This Mesiras Nefesh, this fire, this Nefesh Neshama, Nefesh Ruach Neshama. Chen kan hakavana sheratzon chayvizu benefesh eina bechinas tam v'das. So here too, the soul desire to unite with source, the inference of the nature, the soul's will, is not based on reason. So we're using a word that we usually think is to do with rational reason, nature, but now we're talking about the soul, which has a super rational reason. Knowledge and intelligence can be understood, but rather it's beyond the grasp and comprehension of rational intelligence, because we're dealing with a super rational.
Right.
For this reason, the soul's fact of Chokhmah, and we've been talking about this again and again, this concept of Chokhmah, transcends comprehension.
Right.
The light of the Blessed Ein Sof abides. As a result, the soul is joined to its source. So we're talking about something which is super rational. Thus we see the nature of the hidden love, its quest is the longing of the soul to unite with source. Also Rebbe now going to explain. So it's not in a rational, scientific sort of language over here.
It's like an inherent...
a nature of something which is super rational, yeah? You can have my phone, I don't care.
I thought it was mine.
Yeah, it's all good. So I think that we really made headway in this new chapter. It's deep, but we all know that we can, better than the words is the Mashal, the picture of the flame flickering and trying to get to its root. That is the image we can sort of get this concept of the Nefesh Ruach Neshama, the Avos Nesteres.